Hi, Neil here with Covers Camo, your source for custom seat covers. We have a 2006 Toyota Tacoma we're going to do the install on. So I got my install hat, and we are going to put on this awesome set. It's black ostrich insert with diamond stitching, and then the trim is Kryptek Typhon. So going to be a great looking set. We got it loaded up with the special ops package on the back, and also we'll show you the front MOLLE pockets there and the pistol holster. And first step to do is there's going to be this little package inside your set of seat covers, and you pull this out. There's going to be written instructions inside here, so you can open that up, read through the instructions, and also we have videos like this to explain some of the basics on how to install these. And then inside this folder inside this as well, there are some flyers, some extra flyers for friends and family. Okay, again, we're here on this 2006 Toyota Tacoma, putting on the seat covers, and we're going to start on the passenger side. So first thing that we're going to do is just kind of assess the pieces here, and what I have is this is the passenger bottom right here, and then here's the passenger backrest. Okay, and so we will actually, on this set, we're actually going to put the bottom on first, just the way that this installs. Okay, and so we'll actually take this backrest, just kind of get that out of the way for right now. One thing I'm going to do as well is pop off this headrest, because eventually we're just going to need that off anyhow. This one, Tacoma's, pretty easy. You just press that little side button that releases the headrest there. And right now, so we're going to do this bottom cover here first. Okay, I'm going to untie these strings. There's these strings on the sides here that you undo, so undo those two there. You can kind of scrape up your hands a little bit, so sometimes it's nice if you have a glove out. You can throw on a kind of a lightweight glove, and just to protect your hands during this section, because again, you're pushing, it gets a little tight inside there. Okay, so you're pushing that through there, and then here's these straps. I'm going to push those through on the other side as well. There, I'm going to get that all through. These strings won't go through because they're going to stay on the outsides, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those here in a second. But okay, so push that all the way through like that, and now we'll actually move around to this back side and fold that seat forward a little bit so you can see that. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this out a little bit and tighten it up on the front. Also just checking the front side to make sure that it's kind of going back and forth, making sure it's all fitting down how I want it to, and conforming to all the edges there. Okay. So again, just kind of working it in, taking my time to make sure everything is forming down. Okay, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these strings. So, best way to explain these strings is that these strings here, they need to go on the inside of the plastic. So, okay, so now this is the side view on the passenger seat, and first thing I'm going to do is just push that cover into that plastic trim right there. So that's getting down. Now this string, this is the big piece here. I see this a lot. A lot of people take that string and tie it around on the back side. It's a lot cleaner and a lot better install if you take this string and you actually push it through this plastic trim right here. Okay, so you're taking that and just kind of dropping it down, and as you drop it down, it's going to drop down below. Some vehicles this can be kind of tricky, it's a little bit tight. This Tacoma shouldn't be too bad. There it goes. Okay, so just drop down right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is finish pushing that in right there. Okay, and we do have a little plastic trim tool that you can help push that down if you need to. But okay, so now I have that in right there, and now this one right here, it's a little tight in there, so I'm not going to yank real hard on this side. because I know that it's run up against kind of a tight corner right there. So it's better if I take this other string, and this other string didn't go inside plastic. It's really just going on the outside of the seat right there, just in the space there between the console and the seat. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to take that string, pull it underneath, and this one's the better one to yank on. You can pull this one a little bit harder, and main thing to do is just kind of pull it straight back, rather than once you pull it over a corner, oftentimes those corners can get kind of sharp and kind of tight, and if you yank too hard, it is possible to snap these strings. Let us know though if you snap a string, and we can take care of you still. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I did this probably without even showing you on the camera here, but tied a little knot right there just around itself. Okay, so I got a little noose knot right there, non-slip knot, and then I'm going to take this other side, pulling that other side tight, and then pulling these two together like that, and then just going to tie things off underneath here. I don't know if you can get a view, see that very well. Might have to change the lighting, it gets kind of dark underneath here. This is the hardest part to film for you, right here. But again, what I'm doing is I'm pulling with this left hand on this side, just because that one is the better one to pull on. And then now what I'm doing is I'm just going to pinch that right there and then tie that off when it's decently tight. Again, this piece doesn't have to be super tight, just because it's more for aesthetics. This string is more for aesthetics because it just pulls those corners on the front down. Really the install, what keeps it nice and tight, is these straps that we're going to do next. So I got that string tied off down there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these straps right here and feed those forward. So I'm just going to reach under, start sliding those underneath. Okay, and the goal here when I'm sliding straps forward is that I want them to be as close to the underside of the seat as possible, and that way I'm not, this particular seat doesn't have any electronics, but if your seat has electronics, it's best not to go underneath them so that it's not pushing against cords and electronics and stuff like that. So either way, the principle is go as close to the underside of the seat as possible. Okay, so I've pushed those forward a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is, I think for this next shot, let's go ahead and cut here. Okay, so now we're taking those straps from the back, bringing them forward, and they're going to go into these buckles. Okay, so this is the buckle right here. Okay, so now what we're going to do with that buckle is we're going to take this strap and we're going to go through the middle piece right here. Okay, so you go through that middle piece, and then you're going to go through this outside piece right there, those little slots. Okay, that's how those buckles work. Okay, and then as those go through, you're going to be able to then pull that, cinch that down underneath. Now I was showing you the best view I could, and as I was doing that, it went around our manual control there, so I gotta make sure I don't go around that manual bar right there. Okay, so again, I'm just gonna, we're good, we're lined up now. Go underneath like that. Okay, and then once I get that hooked, now I can kind of reach my hand underneath and start to tighten that up. Okay, and I'm not gonna do it real tight just yet, because I'm gonna get this other one, this other buckle and strap lined up. Okay, so that bottom is almost done. We're going to show you one more thing. There was also a middle strap right here. We call this the safety strap. Safety strap meaning extra safety for the cover. So I'm just going to take this manufacturer tag and just going to take that off so it's out of the way. But okay, so what we're going to do here now is we're going to take this strap and we're going to go underneath to a solid spring, like a solid bar underneath there, okay? And loop around it, and then we're going to be coming back to this buckle, okay? And that is just to make sure that this seat cover doesn't ever pull forward. So that's kind of the safety mechanism, just making sure that it just double secures it in. So again, I'm just gonna looping it around. I found a solid bar underneath there that's it doesn't have any give to it. And then what I did is went underneath there, and now coming back to this buckle, going through that buckle, pulling it tight, and there we go. So now it's tight, and that middle's not gonna slide forward. Okay, so you got it locked to the seat now as well. That's the safety strap locking mechanism. Okay, now we're gonna put on, okay, and we're just gonna open this up, pull this over here. Okay, here's the tool I was talking about. It's called a white fiber stick. You use this fiber stick to work the cover around these headrest posts like this, okay? And just like that, you pop it over, okay? So not too bad. With this this ostrich material, it has a little more give than the 600 denier camo. So you could really do that just with your hands if you needed to, but sometimes when you have a material like this that doesn't have as much give over this piece, then this comes in handy big time. Okay, so now I got those on. I know that I'm centered up. We're good there. I'm gonna be pulling down these sides. Okay, I'm just kind of tightening things down there. I'm gonna go underneath that plastic trim, so that plastic pops out a little bit more right there, and kind of just tuck these inside. So this Tacoma actually is a fold flat, where this passenger side folds all the way down flat like that. And there's a little plastic tray back here. Okay, and if you really love that tray, you can get this cut out so you can still use the tray back there. But we don't love the tray as much as storage pockets. Okay, so these storage pockets we wanted to have loaded up on this Tacoma, so we ended up just covering over that. Okay, so now that I have it centered up there, I'm gonna give it a nice pull right here, and then start pushing this underneath. Again, this might be a place that you want to put on gloves again, if you'd like, so you don't scrape up your hands too much. Okay, so pushing that through there. I'm actually going to fold this forward just to help with this install now. So I'm pulling that down here, and I'm actually going to sit right here and kind of give that front side a good pull, just to make sure everything is getting down tight inside there. Just working it around. And now this piece right here is going to come right here and then attach on to this Velcro. Okay, so there's Velcro right there and a felt flap on this underside right here. So again, you're gonna want to get that tight, bring it around right there, and then pull this one down tight so it lines up right there, and it's just gonna hug it nice and tight. Okay, so here's the headrest cover, about that size on this Tacoma. Grab the headrest. Now, the front side of this headrest cover is this one that's a little wider, okay? And the reason for that is it's going to come down, and what you can do is kind of look at the shape of the headrest, look at the shape of the cover. Okay, you see how this kind of curving around right here? That's going to be your front side, just how this is curving around right there. And this is kind of a flat back right there. So that's a good way to tell as well. And then almost always as well, the hook side, the kind of rough side of the Velcro is typically the front as well. Okay, it's another little tip for you on how to tell which is the front, which is the back. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this over, and this is gonna be a little tighter one. So what I'm gonna do is do a couple things. I'm gonna fold it out a little bit like this right here, and that helps me from making sure I don't break my side seams. The other piece too is that I'm gonna push this headrest down, because again, this is gonna be a tight fit. So I'm gonna really try to compress this down with my other hand and use my leg. You could always kind of kneel down and push this into, like if you had a mat, or at home you could put it on the carpet and kind of put your weight on it. But you want to do that, and because that'll help compress it as you're pushing this in here. Okay. Again, I'm just taking my time doing this, not rushing this piece. If you try to force it too much, it's possible to break a seam. So I just like taking my time, just working it around. Okay, and then I undo that, kind of unravel it as it's down towards the bottom. And then the last piece of this is I just want to make sure it finishes out nice. It's going to be smooth on the front. So there's this bottom right here. Got it lined up pretty good, and so now I'm just going to pull that Velcro, and then that'll attach on right there. Okay, so there's that front side right there. Okay, so now we're going to push that back in. Okay, so again, that headrest has the Kryptek Typhon. Whatever trim material you choose, typically that's going to be your headrest and console lid cover fabric. So this one has a little bit of a thicker front to it, and it's a little bit of a skinnier back. So the way I'm telling what's the front and the back is this piece of fabric's a little bit thicker, a little bit taller compared to this back side as well. So that was the way that I looked at this and just kind of was able to tell front versus back. Again, now we're going to take that. If you're going to pull the cover to kind of, if you're going to give it some serious pressure, because since these were a little long, I'm just going to trim them off, trim them up a little bit smaller here. So trim off some of that extra, give probably that much overlap on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, you see how this is overlapping a little bit much right here, and this is just barely coming over the edge. I really need to shift that whole cover around to the right a little bit. So I'm actually going to take these off, turn these on again. Okay. So there is that guy there, so you can still push in that, there's that button right here. Gonna push that in, and still latches down right there over that there. Okay, so there's your matching hard console lid cover and the Kryptek Typhon right there. So nice cover there. These can get real dirty and can eventually crack. That leather can crack, so it's nice to get it protected and with that cover over there. Okay, so now we have the driver's side to finish this one off. Okay, cut there. Okay, so now I'm gonna use this plastic trim tool on this side right here, and kind of tuck that in right there. So that'll finish out better right there. And then I'm going to take that string, and we're good to go to tie it off on the back side there. Okay, so now we're going to tie these off here. So this is how you tie it off. Okay, so you just make a loop and then take that loop around itself. Okay, and then you made your little noose there. Okay, and then I'm gonna just make sure these are pulling snug here. Okay. Let's see. Sometimes I like just going around the front, make sure that it's all snugging down tight. And I'm actually gonna tie this one off a little bit shorter, so I don't have to adjust the string as much. I'm just gonna go a little bit shorter right here. Tie that off again. Okay, so you see, there was that string that was kind of caught right there. I don't love having the string down right here. I like bringing it up and having a little bit higher right there. It just hides the string a little bit more. Okay, now that I got that snug, again, you don't have to yank real hard on this because it snugs up pretty quick. And again, it's not functionally, it is more for aesthetics and just pulls those corners up, those front corners. Okay, so now I'm gonna take these straps, push them to the front, and I'll just do this safety strap right now as well while we're here. Again, pushing that around to a solid bar. Okay. Okay, and that one's one you can snug pretty tight down right there, and then just, again, it's just nice to make sure that it doesn't ever slide forward. Okay, just getting those other two straps slid forward there. Okay, now we're going to go around to the front. A little jerky there. Leftover beef jerky. Just kidding. Hey, you know, it's a camping vehicle. And a camping vehicle needs good seat covers like this. Okay, so this is, we got these straps pulled forward here, and gonna do them up to these buckles. Okay, and again, you make sure that you're not going, let's see, that you're not going on the outside of that manual adjustment bar. I mean, you need to be not, you know, so making sure that that bar isn't getting tied up on with these. Okay, so got that first one hooked up. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tighten down, and then go into this other one. Okay, again, technique here is kind of pushing down a little bit. You know, and I realize even just feeling underneath there that I'm pulling on an electric cable, so I'm gonna actually loosen this up and go back underneath to make sure I don't have that issue. So it is best if you can get underneath here like this and look and see where these straps are going to make sure that you're not pushing any. You know, it's tough to get the camera underneath here, but we'll again, main thing that you want to do is check your straps and make sure that they're not giving too much pressure or pulling on one of your like an airbag cable, or if you have heated seats or something like that, that it's not pushing on that there. So I got those tightened down now. And then I'm just going to take that extra strap and just hook it up underneath a spring underneath there, so it's not just taking up space under there. And it just kind of hugs underneath the seat like that. Okay, so that looks good to me there. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna put on this backrest. Okay, so that's all looking good right there. Okay, so that's all down there. Now we're gonna put on the backrest. Okay, so we get the backrest cover ready. Headrest is out already. I'm gonna take off those labels. Okay, pulling this over. That. Again, lining up these headrest posts. So as you can see, this fabric, I can just use my hands. You know, you don't have to use that plastic trim tool, but it's there in case if you want to. You know, this one's a little bit bigger, so is helpful if you have it. So maybe I will use it after all. There we go. So it just helps stretch it. Okay, and then it just trims out so much better. I've seen some customers just leave that pre-cut out hole above there, and it doesn't trim out nice. So I mean, that's the way it's supposed to trim out. So might as well do it like that. Okay, so now this backrest piece we're pushing through here. Okay, let's slide that forward now. Okay, so here is why we did the bottom section first. Because now that bottom section's down, it has a Velcro on the back side of it down here. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this tight, pull that backrest down nice and tight, make sure I got all the slack out. And then just gonna stick that down right onto the Velcro right there. Okay. Nice little install method that George came up with. So makes it so much easier. We used to have to put like a million different elastic straps, hook those all up, and it was a nightmare. But that fixed that. So that just pushes on there, so we're good there. And then now that that's good, and I'll check that just to make sure that that's, oh yeah, so it's like super tight. It's good. It's solid there. Okay. So that's set up there. Sometimes if you get that pulled really tight, it can pull this up a little bit. I'm not super concerned with it, but because this has almost a full inch of foam backing, so I'm not worried about this really wrinkling because it's just the diamond pattern is nice. But if you see that bubbling up a ton right there, then you may have pulled it too tight back there, and it may be pulling it a little bit much. But I think that's looking good right there. So we're gonna pull that forward again one more time. And next step is we're gonna get this backrest pulled down. This the back side of the backrest here. So, and actually before we do that, I'm gonna take these elastic straps and hook those back up. And this is a little tip for you. Again, you don't have to do it this way, but this is the preferred way that I like to do it. These are little S hooks. Okay, you can pick these up at any kind of hardware store. Has these little S hooks, or contact us if you need some. And I'm just gonna hook that on right here, and then I'm gonna go underneath and then hook it on to any kind of solid bar underneath there. Okay. Now, the thing that you want to be careful with this is you need to use eye protection if you're looking underneath there. What I'm going to do is I'm just not even going to look and just kind of feel with my hands and hook it on to something solid underneath there. Yep, so I got something already. Okay. So, but if you're underneath looking, these can flip back, hit you right in the eye, okay? And we don't want that. So you don't want that either. So if you're doing it that way, just be careful with that, okay? Again, that's just a little word of caution for you if you're doing that. Inherent risk with anything we do in our lives, but this carries a little bit too. We want to make sure you have good vision for the rest of your life. So again, I'm just reaching underneath there, just kind of feeling around. You know, I'm kind of feeling before I even hook it to like see where I might want to go with it. And it may take a second to find something, but once you get it, you're good. Yep. Okay, so I got one right there. Got a solid bar hooked on. So then that keeps that back felt down again. Okay, so you're good there. Now I'm gonna straighten this out a little bit here because I want this edge to line up flush here. Okay, and then I'm gonna straighten that and then pull nice and tight, snug that down, and we're good right there. Okay, so the back side's good. We're solid right there. And then going to come back around, I'll show you this, how this attaches on here. Okay, so for a lot of vehicles made around this year, they do have side airbags. So this is the airbag compatibility section here. So if there was a side airbag, the airbag could blow out, and so that's to show you. So you still get full coverage with airbag compatibility, but that's how it would blow through those Velcro pieces there. Okay. So again, we're gonna get that back a little bit. Next piece is the headrest cover. So you can go back around to the other side. Well. Okay, so last piece is the headrest cover here. Okay, there we go. That's the end of the install. So we're gonna do one final other video to kind of show you, on a separate video, we'll show you all the accessories and pockets set up and what you might be able to use those for. So thanks very much for watching the install on this 2006 Tacoma. Thanks.